Hello viewers and welcome to my classroom. Since I started this channel, I've gotten one question more than any other. What are individual values? Today we're going to talk a little bit about individual values, what they mean, how you can find them out, and how they benefit you. I'm Professor Cunningham and this is Pokétutorials. The three primary stats we're going to be talking about today are Attack, which determines how much damage your Pokémon does, Defense, which can affect the amount of damage your Pokémon takes on each attack, and Stamina, which affects your Pokémon's hit points. There's a lot of math that goes into how these statistics interact with each other and with other stats like combat power. For now, we're just going to stick with the basics. Here is one very common Pokémon in all of its forms. These base stats are shared by all members of that species, and as you can see, they improve every time you evolve. If you had a Pidgey and a Pidgeotto with the same combat power, the Pidgeotto would be the superior Pokémon because it deals more damage, can mitigate more damage, and has more health. Most Pokémon have a balance of all three stats, but some Pokémon, like Chansey, have one that's way out of proportion. So what does this have to do with individual values or the new appraisal system? Individual values are bonus stats given to an individual Pokémon above its base stats. It's a way to compare a Pokémon to other members of its own species. Each Pokémon can gain a bonus of 0 to 15 points on each stat over and above the base stats of its species. When someone says a Pokémon has 100% IVs, what they mean is that the Pokémon has a 15-point bonus in all three stats. A Pokémon with 10 bonus on each stat has a total of 30 bonus points out of 45 possible for about 67%. These percentages give a basic idea of how a Pokémon shapes up against the others of its kind, and provide the basis for your team captain's appraisal. Here's that Pidgey again, this time with 100% individual values. As you can see, the difference isn't huge. I want to make it very clear that you do not need to be an expert in individual values to excel at Pokémon Go. In fact, you could ignore them completely and still be an excellent trainer. That said, finding Pokémon with high IVs will give you an edge in gym battles, helping you to win a few more of the fights that come right down to the wire. So how do you find out your Pokémon's individual values? Well, finding the exact numbers for each stat can be tricky, but getting an estimate's pretty simple. The simplest way to get a solid estimate on your Pokémon's individual values is with the Appraisal System. Your team leader will give you 4 pieces of information about your Pokémon. First, they'll give you a general idea of the total individual value percentage. Next, you'll find out your Pokémon's highest stat. If more than one is tied for first place, then you'll find that out too. The third comment tells you just how high that highest stat is. Finally, judge your Pokémon by its size, they do. As far as I know, size doesn't have any impact on gameplay. Each team captain has distinct responses, so I'll put a link to GamePress's full list in the description. It's worth noting that if the team captain tells you that all of the Pokémon stats are tied, and afterwards gives a response for the perfect IVs, it means your Pokémon has 100% perfect individual values. If you want a more accurate estimate of your individual values, there are plenty of IV calculators out there for you to use. I'll link a couple of my favorites in the description. Finally, I feel the need to address the fact that there are websites and apps out there that will pull data directly from the game to give you a perfectly accurate report of each Pokémon's IVs. However, using these third-party programs is a violation of the terms of service of the game. Now, the chances of getting banned for using such a site or an app are very small, but they're not zero. It's probably a better idea to use your team captain and a calculator. Have fun and be careful out there.